Is Saturday's edition of News Hour at 2, and we are coming to you live from our studios from the Broadcasting House Accra. My name is Nana Echa Abwaji. Now to our very first story. Ghana's confirmed COVID-19 deaths have passed 1,760 with active cases in all the 16 regions.
Data from the Ghana Health Service COVID-19 update page shows that 1,001 have so far succumbed to the coronavirus. 147 COVID-19 deaths were recorded in the country between August 1 and 23, 2021. The update shows 149 persons who contracted the disease are in severe condition and 62 persons in critical condition. Presently, the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country since the outbreak in March 2020 stands at 117,040. The Greater Accra and Ashanti regions, the hardest hit regions, recording 62,745 and 19,865 cases respectively. The Western region has also recorded 6,705 cases. The total number of active cases as of last Monday was 6,905. The leader of Risk Communication for COVID-19 response, Dr. Da Costa Begai, said that deaths were rising because people were reporting to the health facilities late. He called on the public to help curb the infection spread by wearing their nose masks, observing social distancing, and washing their hands regularly with soap and running water.
Now, police personnel from selected countries from the African sub-region have received training to improvise explosive devices. It is a first of three-phase training program put together by the British Peace Support Team and supported by the African Union and the Ghana Police Service.
The Explosive Hazards Awareness Training of Trainers initiative sought to prepare, retool and reskill participants with the needed knowledge, resources and techniques necessary to combat the upsurge in the use of improvised explosive devices which easily fall in the hands of criminals and related gangs, often used to cause massive destruction to public and private property. At the program, there were students from 11 African countries: Ghana, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Sierra Leone, Egypt, the Gambia, DR Congo, Benin, Liberia, Cameroon and Senegal.
The use of improvised explosive devices poses a threat to African Union peace support operations and missions such as the Amazon mission in Somalia. This threat hinders the delivery of the mandates. It inflicts loss of life and injury on mission personnel and the civilian population your duty is to protect.
The Director General of Police in charge of administration, COP Christian Tetayonu, advised the participants to make an impact with the knowledge acquired.
In our own sub-region, political activities and festive periods are prime occasions when miscreants resort to the use of explosives to kill and maim members of the vulnerable civilian public. I therefore urge you to go out there and impart to officers in your various countries the knowledge you have acquired and share with them the resources made available to you during this training session.
The Commandant of the Ghana Police Command and Staff College, Chief Superintendent Dr. Zinam Zoiku, spoke to GBC News.
They are selecting police colleges from Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, Northern Africa, Western Africa, police colleges to actually be modeled into that status where they will be hosting all forms of training for peace support operations across the world. And so ours was the first of its kind, or has been the first of its kind across Africa.
The Ghana Police Command and Staff College in Winneba was primarily established to run courses at 3 levels of management. The college also offers consultancy services to other law enforcement agencies such as the BNI, Immigration, IOCO, prisons, SEPs, among others. The college is working to attain accreditation in undergraduate and postgraduate professional degrees, specialized courses in police science, paralegal services, among others.
Now, away from that story, a number of people have been arrested and jailed for stealing railway equipment, such as stealing and slippers and the railway line. Cases on other suspects are pending in court. The Deputy Minister for the Ministry of Railway Development, Mr. Kweku Asante-Boateng, disclosed this when he took newsmen to suspect or inspect the stolen items being kept in various police stations in the Ashanti region.
The thieves and suspects stole the railway equipment around Kumasi, Ejuso, Konongo, Jaso in Ashanti, and in Koko and Enyinem in the eastern region. The railway service has been out of operation for many years. A few years ago, government embarked on efforts to revamp the sector, considering its strategic position in the transport sector and economic development. Rehabilitation and expansion of the railway network then began. Items stolen ran into millions of Ghana cedis. The Deputy Minister for Railway Development, Mr. Kweku Asante-Boateng, was worried about the development and appealed to Ghanaians to help expose the criminals. He said the steel slippers, though part of the old lines, could still be reactivated to run parallel with the new ones.
They first weed along the lines, they unbolt the steel slippers, and they use gas welding machines just to cut them and load them into vehicles and transport them to wherever they're going to sell. So we need the cooperation of the public at large. We need that of the police also to be watchdogs, every individual, every community. And we need the cooperation of the press as well.
The Ejusu Divisional Police Commander, ACP Stephen Tani Ingisa, said the criminals have stolen almost 8 kilometers of Jaso, Konongo and Adieso stretch of the railway network.
On the 20th of this month, also the assemblyman at the Duapompo electoral area also informed us that he has also had an information that some criminals have also cut about 66 pieces of rings. That if you don't go there, maybe they will come and convey it without our knowledge. So we managed, went there and brought them there.
Police in the central region have arrested 14 herdsmen in connection with alleged defilement of a 16-year-old girl at Gomwa Azentem in the central region. They were arrested in special police operation carried out by Form Police Unit together with personnel from the Central East Regional Command yesterday. We apologize for that. Now moving on, the Ghana National Association of Private Schools has appealed to government to convert the loans given to the private schools last year as a stimulus package during the COVID-19 pandemic into grants, since most of the private schools are unable to repay. At the association's national conference held at Cape Coast in the central region, members also urged government to discontinue the 30% BEC priority placement policy, which favors public schools in the country.
Of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools was attended by members from across the country to interact and find ways to rebuild and rebrand and also elect new leaders for the association. Speaking on the theme, private schools in the post-COVID-19 era, strategizing for renewed growth, the president of the association, Dr. Damasus Turosong, appealed to government not to consider the closure of schools as an option in its attempt to curb the spread of the virus. He also spoke about the stimulus package extended to private schools during the outbreak of the COVID-19 last year.
Not only are schools struggling to pay debts incurred last year, many schools are unable to break even this academic year. It is 30 to 40% more expensive to run a private school today in the era of COVID-19 than it was in normal times. This is the result of the need for us to supply PPEs, enforce social distancing in our classrooms, school buses, dormitories, dining hall, etc.
The Inspector General of Schools of the National Schools Inspectorate Authority, Dr. Hager Hilda Mpedu, said negotiations are currently underway with the Minister for Education to provide assistance to private schools, including the distribution of textbooks and posting of trained teachers, among others.
We would have absorbed excess students from the public sector into our schools, and we had proposed ways in which we could be made part of the system. It's not even by wholesale payment of expenses of students who go to the private senior high schools, but some level of understanding where our operations could be rebated to the extent where our school fees come down to a bearable level for students who cannot gain admission into the public sector to come on board to our private sector.
The president of the association, Dr. Damasus Turosong, said the double-track system would not have been necessary if the government had listened to suggestions to include private schools in the free senior high school initiative.
The Pediakotopo Health Center in Ada in the Greater Accra region is said to be in a deplorable state, making it haven for snakes and scorpions. The facility either has a medical doctor nor a physician assistant and is run by a handful of nurses and a midwife. It has no functional laboratory nor technician, and medicine are dispensed from batches. Even basic tools required for a primary health care are also lacking, and all three boats serving as ambulances and as means of transportation are broken down due to lack of maintenance. An SOS call is therefore being made to government to revive the health care and make it functional. A report by Sarah Fori.
This is the second time in history I'm coming across the Pediakotopo Health Center in a deplorable state, this time round through the lenses of a philanthropist, Mr. Benjamin Ando Yankson, the founder of Be That One, an organization that seeks to influence generations positively. Traversing the Volta Delta to Pediakotopo, one of the island communities along the river body in Ada, can be scary. So it comes as no surprise that doctors and other medical personnel are unwilling to come and man the center. Upon arrival, one is met by these broken down boats which serve as ambulances to convey patients to nearby facilities in Ada. At the time of his visit, the center seemed deserted. There was only a nurse and midwife with one patient on admission. The child had suffered degrees of burns. Patients ran a huge risk patronizing the Pediakotopo Health Center. There is only one ward with 2 beds where both males and females are admitted, and even that is without a conducive environment.
When the mothers come, you know, the place is not very careful. The OPD side where they can sit for their babies to be weighed. When it rains, it falls over there to be leaking, so they don't get space to sit over there unless we cover the roof before they can get a place to sit. One weighing scale is not working, especially the babies that can stand. They don't get a weighing scale to be weighed with. And unless those that are not up to the time to be standing, we hang them on the wood over there. And you know it's not strong. This the antenatal of department.
Okay.
This machine is only one. Sometimes it will be faulty. You try to change the battery still, it will not work. And the urinal, when they come, every time we have to check their urine. But a place to urinate is a problem. They have to go into the bush. This is where we palpate the urine. And when they come, we have to expose some part of their tummy so that we can work on them. And see the windows. When you close, it doesn't close very well. Some children will come and stand and be peeping through the window.
They complain that the dispensary does not befit a health center.
When I came here, that's how the place was. But as I took over, I was told that we were supposed to put the drugs in shelves. But looking at the way they built it, they didn't do shelves in the rooms. There's supposed to be an air condition to keep them in their right temperatures, but that is also not available.
And the laboratory is also in a bad shape.
We don't have a lab technician to operate the place. Formerly there was one, but he was a casual, so the person left about 5-6 years ago. The only thing we have now is the microscope. That's what we've covered. It's functioning, so we've covered in case.
Which one? This one?
Yes.
Okay. This is the only thing you have here?
Yes. Like when it was used, things were, the reagents and things that are using were available, but since there's nobody to use it, all the teeth are spoiled, so it has been this. We hope that someday the government will bring us somebody.
So deplorable is the Pediatokope Health Center that it is now a haven for scorpions and reptiles. Mr. Ando Yankson recalls his encounter with a snake in the washroom.
The place is not hygienic, and where they will bath the baby is getting rotten and so rusting, so forth. I went to their washroom. I saw a tiny robe. It's like about 2 inches round. So I thought it's green. I thought it's a leaf. So I was going to pull it, and that was a snake in their toilet behind the reservoir. It just between the wall and the reservoir tank, and then it just popped out its head.
The facility runs on solar energy donated by an NGO which is regulated, but has no potable water. Due to the lack of patronage, the nurses rather embark on community outreach to immunize and render care. My narrator tells me teenage pregnancy is also high in the communities and appealed to the government to attend to the people. Cyril Furi, GBC News, Pediatokope.
Now, on an average of 30 children diagnosed with retinoblastoma managed at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital annually. It is one of the most common optical tumors or childhood cancer. However, its management has been without a comprehensive strategy to effectively detect, treat, reduce morbidity and increase survival of patients. To rectify that, a 5-year national strategy is being drafted by stakeholders that is to ensure that Ghana has the capacity to properly manage the condition and establish referral pathways and increase the rate of survival. And a report by Sarah Fori.
A number of lives are lost to diseases due to the inability of health professionals to detect and refer patients for treatment early. Retinoblastoma is one such example. It is one of the most common intraocular cancers affecting children 5 years and below, but rarely among teenagers and adults. Although fatal, retinoblastoma can be treated when detected early. In Ghana, less than 50% survive the disease, mainly due to the absence of a national strategy to manage it. The journey to draft the strategy thereon began in 2019 by a group of pediatric ophthalmologists and oncologists. The strategy is expected to develop evidence-based clinical guidelines, training medical personnel, attracting resources to improve healthcare delivery, build capacity and infrastructure, as well as raise public awareness. At the stakeholders meeting in Accra, it was disclosed that the National Registry for Retinoblastoma has since been developed, and in partnership with the World Child Cancer, a number of frontline healthcare workers have been trained on the early warning signs of the condition. A pediatric ophthalmologist, Professor Vera Esuman, disclosed the advanced treatment regimen for retinoblastoma, which will soon be introduced in mainstream healthcare by next year. The head of medical and dental health at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Bafo Ewua, said the ministry will mobilize resources to implement the initial phase of the 5-year national strategy.
I'm optimistic. Ghana is closer to that 2030 target if all the building blocks that we started putting up, they all come together. So high quality, affordable, accessible healthcare. And luckily our ophthalmology group have also started looking at childhood eye cancers. If all the intervention they are putting in place go along side by side with what we are doing in the whole health phase, we will improve eye care.
Retinoblastoma, just like other childhood cancers, are yet to be covered by the NHIS, and since most caregivers are unable to afford the cost of treatment, parents are advised to be vigilant and report early to the hospital when they notice deviations in the eyes of their children and white shiny spots, as well as huge swelling of the eye.
It is possible to use bamboo in fishing. Bamboo is used to catch or harvest crayfish, a fish species commonly known as catfish and bloodfish in the Volta Lake. Yet somehow it is becoming difficult to find bamboo due to the activities of galamseyers as they destroy them in their gold mining spree. Bamboo users, fishermen and sellers of the bamboo in Yedi in the Pru East District capital say it is affecting their business. Peggy Amadonko reports.
Bamboos are a diverse group of evergreen perennial flowering plants in the subfamily Bambusodia of the grass family Poaceae. Though the origin of the word bamboo is uncertain, the experts say it probably comes from the Dutch or Portuguese language and has a gestation period of 5 years. Globally, some 300,000 hectares are covered by wild bamboo, which is about 5% of Ghana's forest land. Bamboo is widely spread in the western, central, eastern, Ashanti, Bono and Ahafo regions. All over the world, bamboo is used in the construction, building, the fishing, and the hospitality industries. Bamboo species are mainly divided into two main types, runners and clampers. Clamper bamboo trees grow into a slowly expanding tuft, whilst runners produce shoots several meters away from the parent plant. Bamboos are of notable economic and cultural significance in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Asia, being used for building materials, as a food source, and as a versatile raw product. Bamboo, like wood, is a natural composite material with a high strength to weight ratio useful for structures. Bamboo's strength to weight ratio is similar to timber, and its strength is generally similar to a strong softwood or hardwood timber. On the Volta Lake, bamboo is used in fishing. The lake is the main source of inland fishery in Ghana. In Yeji, in the Pru East District of the Bono East region, fishing brings together fisherfolks from almost all fishing communities in the forest. This has made the town the biggest and most vibrant fish market in the country, generating revenue for the district assembly. Even though the fishing industry is one of the oldest, it is yet to receive its full attention. So in Yeji, fishing is in all forms with illegal methods still ongoing.
Fisher folks along the Volta Lake, especially in Yeji, by means of survival, use the bamboo sticks to set traps to catch fish, and this involves the use of bamboo pipes to catch the fish. Bamboo usage in fishing at Yeji started in 1992, where they serve as a gathering device. They put the bamboos together and form trenches with them, and the bamboos trap the egg-laying fish and cut short the reproduction cycle in the lake. Moreover, the small fishes also get trapped before further growth and maturation. Ghana's bamboo is predominantly distributed in the wild along the southern parts of the country. Today, both fishermen and sellers say getting the bamboo is difficult as they are gradually getting depleted due to the activities of galamsey. 100 pieces of these bamboo sticks sell at 100 Ghana cedis. The bamboo traps are said to be the only method of harvesting the crustacea species of fish locally known as blodovi. April through September is said to be the peak season for blodovi and is said to be the most common fish on the market in Yeji during the period.
Apart from Pamprono, and now anyone can put to set Pamprono lost some time, and now they want to.
Interestingly, the fishermen are aware that the use of bamboo in fishing is against the law as it gradually depletes fish stock in water bodies. For them, it is their only source of livelihood, and its ban will affect them economically. Peggy Amadonko reporting.
Now from Yeji, we now move straight to the Upper East region, where the Don Dam in the Nanduli Kalio district in the Upper East region has been washed away by torrential rains, destroying produce on farms within 8 catchment areas. Farmers have expressed worry that the impact of the flood could be very devastating than expected and are calling on government to fix the dam without delay. GBC Newswala Abdul Wahab has visited the dam site and report that many of the youth in the area will not be able to do dry season farming if the dam is not fixed on time.
Maize farm, but today it has become like a desert. The intensity of the water from the dam, which has broken its bounds, has covered the farm here, and now farmers are saying they have nothing to harvest.
More than 40 people farm around this dam. Dion community produces tomato more than any other area in the district. Now that the dam is destroyed, we do not know what to do. We need help. This situation is likely to cause rural-urban migration because the youth will not get jobs to do. We will be glad if the government comes to our rescue.
The assembly member for Dong has been telling GBC News about the impact of the floods on farmers in his electoral area.
Most of the young men and ladies have been engaged in dry season farming instead of moving down south to do other things that probably could get them into troubles. And once it has been washed away, we have to go back the old story that or problem that we're facing. So I'm not happy, but I also commend government for the initiative for giving us this dam, and I'll still plead with government to do the needful.
The breaking down of this dam behind me is likely to further deepen the unemployment situation in the electoral area. The people are therefore appealing to the government to fix the broken dam so that the youth will come back and take up their farming activities.
Now back to our earlier story. Police in the central region have arrested 14 herdsmen in connection with alleged defilement of a 16-year-old girl at Gomwa, Azintem, in the central region. They were arrested in a special police operation carried out by the police unit together with personnel from the Central East Regional Command yesterday.
25th of August 2021, about 9 in the evening, the Gomwa Porting District Police Command received reports from Gomwa Ajintem that 4 Fulani armed men had attacked and robbed a security man by name Daniel Akomkwe, aka Rasta, and his 16-year-old daughter at a poultry farm at Gomwa Ajintem. And the police shot the daughter, and that both were rushed to the Gomwa Porting Polyclinic for treatment. Police proceeded to the crime scene at Gomwa Ajintem and during the search found 3 empty cartridges, but suspects were not found. Police proceeded to the Gomwa Porting Polyclinic, where victims Daniel Akomkwe, aka Rasta, and his 16-year-old daughter were met at the emergency ward responding to treatment. Police was told by the victim that the 4 suspects took his daughter to the bush and all of them raped her. Police has started investigations. Police would also like to use this opportunity to urge the general public to volunteer credible information that will lead to the arrest of these suspects, or can call 18555 or 0299205767 or 0299205854.
News Hour. We take a break, return shortly with business. Don't go away, stay.
(2010) 2014. And now, Qatar 2022, 40 African regions. Who makes the top 5? Can Ghana make a slot?
Ghana won, the USA won.
Qatar 2022, the journey begins here on GTV Sports Plus. The legends will begin.
This program is proudly sponsored by
etoro.com.gh. All hail
Nana Otuo Srebo II on the 50th anniversary celebration of his installment as a Manhini of Dwabing. Let's celebrate his visionary leadership and service to Dwabing, Asante and Ghana. 30th August, fireworks to herald installment date, 31st August, 11 a.m. Thanksgiving service, 7 p.m. till you drop. Live concert by Abrantia Amachidede and
in bringing your food or the items you have ordered online to your doorsteps.
This is Bismarck Isifu, a dispatch rider. Bismarck got into the delivery business last September working as a dispatch rider for a restaurant. However, Bismarck now has his own motorbike and is working for himself. According to him, when working for the company, he used to earn 700 Ghana cedis a month. However, he now earns at least 100 cedis a day, which adds up to about 3,000 cedis a month. Bismarck says the job, although lucrative, is very dangerous as he almost lost his limb over 2 months ago due to an accident he had. According to him, most vehicle drivers do not have respect for motor riders, as many knock them off the roads because they see them as a nuisance.
Accident the money is risky. Moto no ye chinese ye nam kuruma the way are driving cars no esi shesha ye ne drivers bi o mu moto fo no o mo fa ye nye hwe.
The drivers can knock you down on the road and abscond without care.
So they about but o mo ko say ne mirror asamato one o be say car mirror o problem. 2 nam no car betimi abọ. Not long ago the manya accident me nan nyame nko an kamena mu buye. It's risky pa, risky.
Bismarck, however, alluded to the fact that many motor riders do not obey traffic regulations, which usually leads to a lot of accidents.
Police for high one thing motor for no be brave and respect traffic light. Or do traffic light na say aso redness of jano. Pressure will be the money for swire day.
The delivery guys should have their license and helmet when on the road.
So we know license, road rate, insurance, baby a year juma sana offer road no so. Tare so we know helmet. Only helmet there police heading on behalf. One thing no pa na police for hire.
On-demand delivery or courier services seem to have gained traction in Ghana in the last decade. This has been linked by many to the spike in technological trends and the desire by many entrepreneurs to expand their businesses beyond the brick-and-mortar system. The availability of virtual selling platforms that showcase products and engage consumers have provided convenient click and collect services to consumers. Customers in the comfort of their homes now order for any item of choice and have it delivered at their convenience. GBC News spoke to some patrons of delivery services and they shared their experience.
They are useful in delivery of small items in the system, especially food. I can see they move from restaurant to offices and stuff. But of late, most of the accidents we witness on the streets are caused by them. Most of the accidents are caused by them. That's where the problem comes in, because they need to be trained. They need to be trained well before they give them the bikes and stuff.
With these delivery things, the things are not actually good, or let's say, up to the kind of expectations now. I don't know say your quality, because baby and done some filters, but it's not exactly what you want. And some of the things, can you open them? There's no address to trace and say that I am toilet.
It's something we should embrace as Ghanaians because it's coming to stay with us. So we should rather improve it, you know, with the app on mobile phones and stuff like that. I think that is even better when we embrace it that way. I think it's okay. It's just that sometimes, you know, they have to be careful, you know, using the roads and stuff like that. They have to respect this traffic lights and stuff, you know. Most of them don't respect them.
I actually do it with the food always, so per what I've seen, I've not seen any negative aspect of them. But online, I see people kind of, you know, with the clothes they order, you see what I ordered versus what I had. So with that, I think that's the negative aspect because you don't get to meet the people doing the thing. So I think that's the negative aspect.
With an income of about 3,000 cedis a month, one would have thought that Bismarck would see the business as one to do for a long time. However, he says per his vision, he would cease to be a dispatch rider in 2022. According to him, it is too dangerous a work to do and would prefer running his own business where he can employ others to earn a living. Esther Edu Ohumewu, GBC News, Accra.
In a foreign front, Burkina Faso says they would overhaul its security forces to cope with a 6-year militant insurgency that has claimed more than 1,400 lives and forced 1.3 million people from their homes. The Guinea Defense Minister General announced at the press conference in the capital, Ouagadougou, that the government will review the structural and operational organization of the National Defense and Security Forces. He said the changes would focus on information system, logistics and living conditions of the armed forces, but did not give details. One of the poorest countries in the world, Burkina Faso, is struggling with an insurgency that swept in from neighboring Mali in 2015. Its armed forces are poorly trained and equipped against highly mobile jihadist units linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. The group are in depth at ambushing highway convoys, planting roadside bombs and carrying hit-and-run raids on remote villages. The UK's evacuation of civilians from Afghanistan will end on Saturday. The head of the armed force has said there were still some civilian fighters leaving Kabul for UK, but very few now. Now back to our earlier story. The UK's evacuation of civilians from Afghanistan will end on Saturday. The head of the armed force has said there were still some civilian fighters leaving Kabul for UK, but very few now.
The head of the armed forces said it was heartbreaking they had not been able to rescue everybody, with hundreds of Afghans eligible to come to the UK still in Afghanistan. He also said that people who hadn't been able to leave via evacuation flights but were able to